Hi, I'm Jen Gowett at GCU, and I'm going to talk today about initiatives and referendums in the state of Arizona. So I'm going to cover a few things today. I'll provide basic definitions of an initiative and a referendum. I will explain how they're created. I will compare and contrast the two, talk about some pros and cons of both, and talk about how these ideas are a direct implementation of direct democracy. So to start, if you look on Arizona State's website, they talk about initiative and referendum. They give definitions as an initiative is a way for voters to propose a new law or amend a current law. It talks about referendum as a way for voters to veto a law or veto a part of a law. So one adds to and one takes away from current legislation. They are created in similar ways. There are similar processes. If a citizen wants to get an initiative on the ballot, they start by filling out an application, they get a serial number, and then they start a petition. They have to get a certain number of signatures of registered voters, which are checked, and there's a certain percentage that they have to get. So it's 15% if they want to do a constitutional amendment and 10% for a statutory amendment. So after they get permission or they get their serial number, they go and start the petitioning, they get the signatures they need, then they must present those signatures back to the state within 4 months of the next election. If they have the signatures that they need, that whatever they propose will be on the next ballot for citizens to vote on. Similarly, with a referendum, they fill out an application, then they begin to collect signatures. Now with this one, they don't need quite as many people. They need 5% of the voters that cast votes in the previous gubernatorial election. So they only need 5% for a referendum. They collect their signatures, they turn them into the state, and they have to do it within 90 days of that legislature that enacted the bill adjourning for the year. So if they collect the amount of signatures that they need, that vote will be on the next election. It'll be a yes or no vote on whether to repeal or revoke part of or all of a law that had already gone into practice. To compare and contrast. So again, they're very similar in their processes. These are citizens enacting what they want to see in legislation. Both require petitions, both require signatures, applications through the state. So they have a similar process. They are slightly different in the outcome. So the outcome of the initiative is adding something to. The outcome of a referendum is taking something away. Also, initiatives are laws that are proposed by citizens, whereas typically the referendum, while it's proposed by a citizen to take away, the law has already been put into effect by the legislature, by the officials. So slightly different, but very similar process. Pros and cons of each. So obviously the huge pros are citizens get to put their hands in the things that they want to see happen in legislation. They get to literally say what they want to see on the ballot. Whether that's, again, adding to or taking away. They have a huge amount of power in how they want their state to be run. The state also ends up being a true representation of the people, which is a huge pro. Some of the cons are, these are everyday citizens, so they may not have all of the information to make a really educated choice about what laws they want to see happen. And this could end up in conflicting laws. This could end up in a law being passed that isn't in the best interest of all the people. Both of these processes are direct democracy at its finest. It puts the power in the hands of the people, and they get an exact vote. This is not a situation where they vote somebody in and that person makes decisions for them. In both of these processes, citizens actually get a direct say in what they want to see on the ballot. They get vote by vote. Each person's vote counts and matters, and they get a huge say in what and how their government is run and what ends up being put into law. So it is direct democracy at its finest, and it's really interesting to learn about. Thank you so much.